Next on Worcester News tonight, reaction to an SJC ruling on drug driving, allowing police officers to arrest drivers based on their observations. Plus, a new way to report an emergency with your phone. Text messages are now being received at Massachusetts Emergency Management Centers. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. The state's highest court rules drivers can be arrested for drugged driving based solely on the observations of a police officer. The decision comes after a Brighton man challenged the state in court after he was initially taken into custody following an officer's examination. And while law enforcement sees this as a step forward, some in the state's new marijuana industry disagree. Our Cam Jandro is live in Worcester tonight. He has the details. Cam?
Anna, one of the main arguments against this ruling is the fact that there is no valid field sobriety test for marijuana. Now, marijuana has been being sold legally here in central Massachusetts for about 2 months now, and we caught up with one business looking to open up shop here in the city, and they say this ruling is concerning to them. Police in Massachusetts can arrest drivers for DUI if an officer observes signs of marijuana use. The Supreme Judicial Court's ruling is concerning for some since the sale of recreational marijuana is now legal.
This is somebody's discretion. They can just choose at the moment that, I feel like you're high and I'm just going to pull you out your car and, I don't think that that's the best way to go about it.
Ike McBride is looking to open up a dispensary at 40 Jackson Street in Worcester. He says his main concern is racial profiling.
I'm a 6-foot black guy with dreadlocks. You think I don't see it? I mean, come on, let's call it what it is. I mean, if I'm riding somewhere, I am the quintessential picture of the stoner.
Some in law enforcement, like Webster Police Chief Michael Shaw, say the ruling gives officers some guidance on how to handle potentially impaired drivers.
Because it's so new and it's growing so fast in the state that, we have our work cut out for us, but it's good to see this at least going in the right direction for us.
Worcester attorney and former state trooper Anthony Salerno says allowing observations changes the way these cases are handled in the courtroom.
This will allow some more testimony by police officers who are not DREs that will utilize these specific characteristics in trying to secure convictions.
McBride's Jackson Street location is one of the 5 spots negotiating a host agreement with the city. McBride says with his business approaching its start, he'd feel more comfortable if the state had a more concrete way of detecting drugs in drivers.
In situations where you're going through the alcohol, there is something that is some sort of legitimate science that says this is this and this is not this. I think that opens up a can of worms that we're not prepared for.
Now, McBride says when his business opens up, education is going to be one of his biggest priorities. He says he wants to make sure his patrons know how to safely and responsibly use his product. Live in Worcester tonight, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
The battle between the town of Charlton and marijuana cultivator Valley Green Grow takes another turn. Wednesday, the state attorney general's office shot down a bylaw which required selectmen to receive town meeting approval for community host agreements. The bylaw was part of a community petition created by opponents of Valley Green Grow's attempt to build a near 1 million square foot facility at Charlton Orchards. This comes just a week after the planning board denied the site plan approval on Old Worcester Road. Valley Green Grow says they were looking to appeal the planning board's decision, and they're still looking to start business at the Charlton location. During an emergency situation, you're now able to not only call 911, but send a text message as well. Wednesday, the Massachusetts 911 department activated Emergency Management Center's ability to receive text messages. Acting Director of Worcester Emergency Management, Michael Shanley, says you're going to want to provide vital information in this text, including the address. He says just because they can accept text now doesn't mean it's always the right method to use.
So you can't make a phone call. There are situations where you have someone breaking into your house and you're hiding in a closet, or we have a deaf or hard of hearing or a speech impaired individual. This allows them to connect with 911 and get the help and emergency services they need.
The guideline the state is using is call if you can, text if you can't. A trial date has been set for a mother charged with killing 2 of her babies in her Blackstone home. The victim, as well as 4 living children, were found in the squalid home in September of 2014. A neighbor called authorities after a 10-year-old boy who lived there asked for help in getting a baby to stop crying. Murray has pleaded not guilty to the murders. The trial for Erica Murray is set to begin June 4th. Her attorney says he'll raise his client's mental health at the trial. The longest government shutdown in history is in its 26th day, and federal agencies like the Transportation Security Administration are feeling the impact. Some travelers at Worcester Regional Airport Wednesday arrived hours early just to be safe. Our Brittany Schaefer has more.
Going through security lines at airports could take a little longer due to the government shutdown. Earlier today, Yash Bambani arrived at the Worcester Regional Airport 3 hours early, and he says it's all due to the shutdown. The government shutdown reaches day 26 and continues to affect federal workers. TSA agents are among those without pay, and it has travelers taking extra precaution.
I heard from someone that they were at TSA pre-check, and it took them like an hour to get through TSA pre-check. And I don't have TSA pre-check, so I was like, maybe I should get there like at least 2-3 hours in advance.
And I'm showing up early because I wasn't sure if there was going to be a delay because of the federal government being shut down.
According to TSA, almost double the usual number of agents called out sick across the country Tuesday. The shutdown also limiting the number of airline inspectors who are working to check aircrafts daily. The situation had some people flying from Worcester worried about security.
It's very concerning, without a doubt. It's, you're not as safe.
That is a problem. There should be more security.
The Massachusetts Port Authority runs the Worcester Regional Airport. Board Chairman Lou Evangelitis says the impact here has been minor.
We've been fortunate. As of just the last few days, we've heard very few unusual call-ins for sick. Operations have been quite normal, especially in Worcester. We've been operating quite well.
TSA agents in Worcester didn't receive their regular paycheck last week. Travelers like Yash Bambani are ready for the shutdown to be over.
It's just kind of sad. I feel sad for the people who are working here and aren't getting paid. I want to be like extra nice to them and say like, hey, thanks for, coming to work when you're not getting a paycheck.
I just really feel bad for the people that are without pay. I just, it's too bad the lawmakers can't get their act together.
Again, here at the Worcester Regional Airport, there haven't been any major issues with the shutdown. Evangelitis does say people flying should arrive to the airport a couple hours early, just as a precaution. At the Worcester Regional Airport, Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
The United Way of Central Massachusetts is extending their services to federal employees impacted by the shutdown. A confidential phone line allows people to ask for resources they may need. Our Chandler Walsh has the details.
The United Way of Central Massachusetts is helping people affected by the government shutdown. The organization encourages federal workers to call their confidential 211 number if they need assistance.
It's a repository of support of everything from shelter to food to after-school programs to senior programs to health issues.
Federal labor unions say the lack of paychecks for workers, both for the furloughed and the people working without pay, causes great anxiety. A leader in the New England branch of the American Federation of Government Employees says the shutdown is especially hurting younger and mid-career employees.
Some of them have student loans, some of them have mortgages. It's hard for them to get by to pay all these bills that they have right now.
United Way started a United for U.S. coalition to help during the shutdown. Corporate sponsors like Wells Fargo and Bank of America are offering financial support and services.
We're poised and we're ready, and again, putting our national partners together. And I imagine every day, as we go longer and longer, there will be other partners that join in.
Central Massachusetts branch president and CEO Tim Garvin says they've been visiting their partner agencies, many of whom who are nonprofits, to make preparations if the shutdown keeps going.
Do they have federal funding? Is it being affected? The second is, are any of their services that they provide being affected? And the third is, are any of their participants being affected?
Garvin says not knowing when the shutdown will end is difficult. Federal employees say they just want to get back to work helping their country.
The longer this goes on, the worse and worse this is going to get for people. They're just trying to pay their bills, trying to feed their families.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
A stabbing suspect accused of kidnapping a 6-year-old boy and leaving him abandoned in Worcester was expected to appear in court today. 23-year-old Edgar Manuel Maldonado of Connecticut is suspected of stabbing his girlfriend about 30 times in Hartford on New Year's Day before driving off with her son. The son was found abandoned in Worcester. Maldonado was later caught and arrested. He faces several charges, including attempted murder and kidnapping. It's been more than 1 week since a woman's body was found near the Salvation Army in Worcester, and there are still few answers as to what happened to her. Police are asking for anyone who is in the area of Salvation Army lot on Cambridge Street the night of January 6th or knows someone who was there between 6:30 p.m. to 7 a.m. to contact police. The woman's body was found near a donation bin last Monday morning. Autopsy reports came back inconclusive. Anyone who has information about the case is asked to call police or send an anonymous text. Preservation Worcester and the Worcester Historical Commission held its first annual Preservation Awards tonight. The awards are presented to those who go above and beyond preserving the city's architecture. The organization sought out nominations from the public. They say it's important to recognize the people who work to keep a part of the city's history alive.
With Mr. Kunitz, the Stanley Kunitz.
They're irreplaceable, for one thing. They really tell the story of the history of the city and the history of its people. And those are, things that once we lose, they're gone forever.
They're vessels of important events that have happened over the history of the city, and they're sources of pride. So I think they're really important to us.
2 Worcester colleges, WPI received the New Construction Award, and Mass College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences received the Commercial Rehabilitation Award.